Hello everyone, welcome to another drawing/sketching video. I'm Michael and this is the Soul Signature Creations channel. I'm glad that you found this channel. I hope you enjoy it. It's a channel with a lot of different topics on it, so be ready to dive in. I've got drawing videos, comedy, music, improvisations and orchestral compositions, podcast episodes, all kinds of everything that has to do with creativity, or most of the things that I'm capable of and that I'm interested in regards to creativity, I will at some point try to implement on this channel, and I really appreciate that you're here. So what you're seeing is a sketch of a mythological Greek atmospheric landscape with a huge giant stone statue, a broken statue you could say, as part of these ruins that you see in the foreground. The hand reaching out of the ground is actually original in my mind. I had it imagined as sand, so it's a beach. To be specific, the shores of Crete, and it is associated with my book Chronicles of a Myth, which is inspired by Greek mythology, but then again it's completely reinvented, and it's just some basic characters like Daedalus and Athena, characters like this, King Minos, that are part of the story. Daedalus is the main character of the story, in fact, but the rest is completely new. There's no more association with the original mythology than the basic frame and some traits and characteristics of some characters, but then again there will be a twist on them, and I'm not sure when it's going to come out. I'm not sure when I'll have it finished, because it's a big project. But this was in my mind, and when I drew this yesterday, I had this image all of a sudden before going to sleep. Oh yes, this is what I want to sketch next and record and upload to YouTube. And then I thought about it, and immediately in this image there was these angelic wings gracing the top frame. And it's basically a epiphany from Daedalus that he sees these wings up in the sky. So it's like the figurative version, or I don't know how to say it, but it's this the imagined version that portrays Daedalus as he realizes, oh, he could invent wings. They literally come to him from the sky, from the heavens, and grace him with their presence. And they should look somewhat, divine and holy, and have this strong auric outline to them. And the figure that you see, where only the head reaches out of the mountains and the hand reaching out of the ground, this is actually supposed to be Zeus. I know for some people this will be like, what, this is Zeus? I imagine him completely differently, but this is my version of him. I didn't want to paint him as rigid and almost tyrannical and very stern, which is odd, maybe you would say, because he's this father of the gods. He's the mightiest of all the gods, literally the father of many gods and titans, and why would you change this original depiction? But I thought I want to give him a more inspirational flair, because to me Zeus in the original mythology, and it's like spread out all over the history, I didn't really dive into that too much, besides the things that I could recall, to be honest, and a few and doing a little bit of research here and there for some characters. But I didn't want to influence myself too much with these original depictions, because some of them or most of them actually wouldn't fit the book anyway. But don't be fooled by that. The book is gonna be an epic, grand scale story. It's like one of the biggest odysseys that I personally can think of, and there's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of extremely mythical and grand scale, epically large events happening, and a lot of quirky characters and a lot of fascinating characters, and it's a mixture between an odyssey and a character study, you could say, where a person goes on a quest that is not only realized on the outside but also on the inside, and maybe even more importantly is on the inside. And that was very, very important to me when I started this book and when I started my whole odyssey with all of this, because it's not just a book, but it's the book and it's a whole album filled with neo-orchestral music, very complex to compose music, to be honest. So it's of course a big endeavor, and I wanted to capture that also with the imagery that I had in my head. So you might be able to see a few more of these images and sketches. But yeah, this is a scene where Daedalus walks on the shore of Crete, and he meets Zeus in the form of a stonified, huge statue where his head just reaches out of the mountain. You don't see his body. It's like buried underneath, you could say, and there's just this hand, or two hands probably then in the final image that I have in my head, reaching out of the ground, but nothing of it moves, only until Daedalus interacts with him and asks him a certain specific question. I don't want to spoil too much about it, where he becomes, reactive, and he actually hears his voice, and he sees his eyes move a little bit, and his fingers twitch and things like that. And then these gracious angelic wings appear upon the sky, and you see like the rays coming out in the middle of the wings. I didn't want to depict any figure, any god or any titan or any angel or other figuration of this divinity coming down to earth, because I thought, no, that this actually, at least how I imagined it, it doesn't fit the depiction. The rest of the image, the rest of the context, it doesn't make sense to me, at least. Maybe you have a different approach to that, and you would say, oh, this would be nice if there would be an angel in the middle of these wings. But I felt, no, it should be just light coming out, shining out in the middle of these wings. Sorry for the hair in the camera again. And you saw, like, I drew the rays from the middle outwards, and then I realized, okay. After showing the image to my wife, she was like, yeah, and now the sky blue, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about the sky, great. And so I drew over it with the alcohol marker again, and then used acrylic markers here to create these rather strong luminous rays of golden light. Because with acrylic, even if you have already marker down, no matter what material you really have down, with acrylic markers usually you can, and general acrylic color, you can put it on top, and gouache of course, but this paper is not very fit for gouache, so that's why I use these markers. Yeah, and then creating some shines here and there on the landscape, and putting it more into the scene, giving it a bit more depth, with the shading and the highlights. Still, has this conceptual character design, concept art flair that I really like, that I really enjoy. And yeah, but in the end, that's the final image. I'm gonna show it at the end, the scanned in version, because with this camera you can't see it that well, I guess. But I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time.